Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Eric Hunting from Parts Unknown. I'm back with my co-host, my sweetheart, my tag team partner like no other, Anissa.
Hello.
And it's been a minute since we've done a breakdown and review, but we went to a show that needed to be broken down and reviewed, and that was the Pioneer Valley Professional Wrestling 10-year anniversary. And this show did not disappoint at all.
Nope.
It was one hell of a show from first bell to the last bell.
I wasn't even in any of the matches and I'm exhausted.
It was a long night. It was, especially by the time we finally got home. Holy mackerel. That's what happens when you attend the after party as well.
Hey, that sandwich was worth it.
Yeah, shout out to Plan B Burgers because holy mackerel, they make a good burger.
A lot of holy mackerels.
Anyway,
You don't even like fish.
we attended a very special show for a lot of reasons, but let's get started with where we always do, and that's our referees. We had Ref Vinny, Ref Bill, and Ref Gina.
Woohoo! Three of the best.
It's three of the best in the business, I'm telling you.
Still miss Mickey.
We had two ring announcers. We had Lauren St. James making her debut at PvP as a ring announcer.
How does such a voice, a big voice, come out of such a little person? It's impressive.
And then we had Matthew James, who
You can't help but love Matthew James.
I mean, you're celebrating 10 years of PvP. You got to have Matthew James involved.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been involved in so many huge moments over the years.
Yeah.
Oh, especially at this venue, the South End Community Center in Springfield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he went flying off a cage. He's gone flying off the balcony.
I don't know how the fella keeps walking.
So, special shout out to Matthew James.
I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with this venue. I love the size.
Yeah.
How many people it can hold, and we can have the vendors.
Yeah.
And it's really, we can have a band playing.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. The problem is how big it is, the noise gets lost.
Yeah.
And then
it's like you don't know if the wrestlers can hear you cheering and booing it. Actually, they can't because they ask for more and we're giving them all we got. And
well, if Tara just a few seats down from us can't hear you, there's an issue.
Tad loud sometimes. But
it's still a great venue.
Yeah. And they put on a hell of a show up there.
Mm-hmm.
And we also had our video extraordinaire, and that's Louis Semity. This kid, I'm telling you, he also makes up trading cards for the guys. Got another complete set, but he's always running around videoing all the matches, and he does so much more that other people don't even know what he does. And that's also to be said about another special person who's usually a ring announcer there at PvP, and that's Cameron Coe. Mm-hmm. He did a lot more behind the scenes stuff this time, and making sure the show was going off without a hitch. So
those two fellas are fabulous.
They're a couple of the unsung heroes because you really don't know what they're doing, but if they weren't doing what they do,
it wouldn't get done.
We wouldn't be having a lot of the stuff that we get.
Mm-hmm.
And this being the anniversary show, there was a lot of special matches. Like it was ends of stories, beginning of stories, twists of stories.
Yeah, but it's PvP. God. I mean, if there's one thing that they are good at, it's the storytelling, and I love that.
Yeah. And so we started off with our very first match. I mean, they started off with a bang, and that was a Sure Shot Tag Team Battle Royal. The winner of the Tag Team Battle Royal gets a sure shot, which means they can call out their shot against the tag team champions anytime, any place that they feel fit. So, and what a lineup of tag teams. We had some regular tag teams and we had some put together tag teams that I want to see more of.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go down the list of them, no particular order. We had Jermaine Marbury with Benny the Ball and I Blackjack. This kid, I'm telling you, he's got a lot of energy, that kid.
He's an up-and-comer.
Yeah,
he really is.
I mean, he's big at Wrestling Open right now through BioPro, the training school. And a lot of these kids on this show come from BioPro.
That's another
which
great
is great.
thing.
We're seeing the next
PvP
generation.
Supports. They don't keep it closed.
No.
They bring in new people all the time while still respecting the veterans of the business
and their heritage of what created PvP.
I love the blend of, for lack of a better term, the new and the old.
Yes.
Because if you only keep the old people around, it gets stagnant.
Yep.
If you only have new people, they don't have anybody else to learn from.
Right.
So, and the best people to learn from generally are at PvP.
Yeah. And speaking of new and old, the next team was Ryan Waters, H2O, and then DJ Powers, who is a young up-and-comer. He's making waves wherever he goes.
Waters. Waves.
See what I did there?
But, for somebody who retired, he doesn't really stay retired, though, does he?
And took almost more bumps than the young guys.
Oh,
and he was feeling it at the after party.
I was feeling it.
Then we had Dan the Man and his tag team partner, I think, is Stan Michael.
That I love seeing Dan DeMan come in.
The mission. It's all about the mission.
He is such an entertainer.
Yes. Can he get a crowd going one way or the other?
And sometimes both at the same time. Yeah. Like 1 minute you're booing him and the next minute you're loving him and then you're back to booing him.
And I heard, because one of our dear friends who we lost a few years ago was the biggest Dan the Man fan. And a couple of the girls behind us said, "One more time for Larry. Everybody stand up and cheer for me." And they cheered for Dan the Man. And that was for Larry. And I gave him credit on that one. That was so sweet to hear, because Larry would have loved this show.
And 100%. Hunting cries because
I did not.
Hunting cries.
Then we had Handyman and Eric Cha-Cha.
They're a fun new team.
We got to see these guys at a recent show, at a student show at BioPro, which I'm sorry we didn't do a review for. We're trying to get back on track with these. And man, these kids, I mean, we've seen Eric Cha-Cha at Test of Strength, but these kids
Spitfire
coming together, I wouldn't have thought this team would have worked together, but man, do they.
Yeah, they really gelled.
They complement each other really well.
I hope we see more of them.
Yes. And then we had, speaking of a couple of veterans, Bobby Ocean and Slick Wagner Brown.
Bobby Ocean.
He's one of our first favorites. He fell in our laps at our very first show almost 8 years ago now. Literally in our laps. And we were in the second row. We didn't know we had to move. And Slick Wagner Brown, trainer of the stars. I mean, and he's a Kowalski guy from way back, and he's passing on that lineage.
And the respect that you have for those two.
Yeah.
And when I say you, I mean all of us, the collective you.
Yeah.
He did fantastic.
And a couple of his students, Poppy and Young Boy, are Test of Strength kids. Mm-hmm. And they're a couple of high flyers. It doesn't really work well in a battle royal, but boy, they did their own. They held their own. Then we had the exact opposite of these two, and we had Ryan Frost and Lucas Chase. You want to talk about a couple of hard hitters, and Then you throw a kendo stick in the mix, and you have really hard hitting.
I want to call them monsters, but in the nicest sense of the term.
Well, yeah, because we love them. So,
yeah.
But Ryan Frost came out swinging that kendo stick like there was no tomorrow.
Oh my goodness!
He lit a couple of guys up right away.
Poor Kaylee. She said, she each time she heard it, she grimaced. She was, oh my God, how can they do that?
Then we have one of our young up and coming teams, and that was Night Train, which is Drager.
I kind of missed the whistle.
And then Brett Metro, with one of our all-time favorites, Johnny Idol, as their manager. And
we love Johnny.
He's going to lead them right to the promised land.
One of our favorite people.
Hell yeah.
Just forever.
Not even as a wrestler, just as
a human
alone.
being.
And then we had Rain Conway and Jeremy LaCroix. Another couple of BioPro guys. Mm-hmm. This battle royal is littered with BioPro guys, which is great because they're getting their starts, and glad to see it. Another couple of young guys, Strauss and Bano. Bano we saw at BioPro. He won a battle royal at that show. Mm-hmm. This guy he's built as big as a house, and it's not ironic. He is big as a house.
But he moves really well, which is a surprise because you wouldn't think that.
I wouldn't want to piss the dude off.
No.
And then...
But he seems lovely.
He seems like a nice guy. And then a couple more legends came into the ring. And that was Doc Heresy.
Boo.
And Zachary Pierre Bellew. ZPB. We hadn't seen him in a while, and we got to see him. That's ZPB's koozie right there.
I love him.
ZPB was great.
We've enjoyed him
since we started almost 8 years ago now. I mean, come
He's
June.
Always fun, and entertaining, talented.
This battle royal was, it's a battle royal, so it's going to be crazy anyways, but then you throw it as a tag team battle royal. Now you got guys working against each other, with each other.
Mm-hmm. It was hard sometimes.
Yeah, you didn't know where to watch.
Yeah, you look and you think, I'm going to try and watch what this guy does. But then he gets lost and you're like, what?
There's so many bodies.
Walking back. Okay, well, let's see who else is going.
You figure there was 11 teams. So there was 22 people in that ring. And at one point, there was a couple more people. Towards the end, Johnny Idol got up in there, and then a veteran from the old PvP days that was before our time there, which was only a couple years because this is their 10-year anniversary. Right. And that was Billy King, who's a former champion there. Mm-hmm. And I'm not 100%. I hope I'm right. I hope I have my information right. That I believe Johnny Idol won his title from Billy King when he went on that last run.
Oh yeah.
For when Johnny Idol retired to
Well, if your information is incorrect, someone.
I hope somebody corrects me. If I'm wrong, please let me know.
That's the only way to learn.
I believe I'm right if I followed the lineage correctly. I keep using that word.
I was terrified when I saw Johnny in that ring. I thought, friend, what are you doing?
and I know that there was somebody in the audience over on the other side who was biting her fingernails saying, "What are you doing? We need to go home in one piece." And that was our friend Bessie.
And I have more selfish reasons why I want him to be okay.
He's got time to heal. And now this match went on for a little while because there was so much going on. But after those managers got involved, they ended up fighting it out, and Night Train ended up taking it out. So now they have an opportunity at the Tag Team Champions anytime they want. And as of them winning that match, it was the Union. But the titles are on the line later on in the night, so we don't know if that's how it works out.
Well, we do. We'll just tell you about it in a few minutes.
We don't want to spoil it yet. Then we came up to match 2.
I know.
That was just the first match. what? It felt like 6 matches in one.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah. You know me. I love battle royals, Royal Rumbles. I love them all. I really do.
I know.
And it was more of a Royal Rumble style instead of a battle royal. They didn't all start in the ring at once. It came out in 90-second intervals. Some people took longer, so they started the time back over the mission. Because Dan the Man likes to make an entrance.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
It is all about the mission, and he makes sure of it. But anyway, we went on to match 2, and that was the Women's Championship match. One of our absolute favorites, Big Juicy.
Both inside and outside.
She's right there. That's Big Juicy.
Of the ring.
Yes, and we love Big Juicy.
Incredible human being.
And she was facing, again, Livia, who has been a little bit of a thorn in the side of Big Juicy.
I really hope that they can get more women. I've been saying this for a while, and it's difficult. I understand that, but you know.
Yep.
But you can't fault the women who are here.
Yep. They're both talented.
Can fault the results of the match.
It was a hard fought match. There's some Juicy brought out some stuff she hasn't in the past.
She got spicy.
She got very spicy. Boy, did she get feisty. She was doing some hitting that
and Livia hit back
and left a handprint on Juicy's chest. A couple of those chops.
Ouchies.
I don't know why, but she said she can't stand me. I don't understand. Livia, I mean, not Big Juicy.
Big Juicy, no.
I got my hug from Big Juicy, and then I was also told that that Livia can't stand me. I don't understand. But
well, that just speaks to the type of person she is, and I'll leave it at that. Boo.
You heard it here first. And so, unfortunately, to this household, anyways, we have a new PvP women's champion, and that is Livia, who has now set a record as being the youngest PvP champion ever in any division at 18 years old. That's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not the hugest fan.
Well, the feeling's mutual. So.
Yeah, apparently we don't like each other. I don't know what I did, but
there's a few other people that, but we're moving on from
that. But anyway, but at 18 years old, that's pretty cool to win your first championship at that young age, this young in the business, but with winning a championship, that just means that there's a maybe a rematch in her future. And
well, personally, I hope that somebody who's been in the business longer can come around and, I don't know, teach her some manners and respect, and
I have about 3 names on the tip of my tongue for young Miss Livia. I mean,
and she doesn't like you either.
and number 1 isn't my biggest fan either, but Miss Evie Della Rosa could teach her a lesson or two.
I would love to see that.
And who wouldn't love to see a maybe one-time return of one Skylar? She could teach her a lesson or two. And then there's a certain gatekeeper to New England of Miss Davian, who hasn't been in PvP in a minute.
But man, could she teach a lesson.
I know that she's been back in the area or planning on coming back to the area. What's wrong with making a trip back to PvP? I'm just saying. You may need to learn a lesson or 3, and I'm just throwing those names out there. Who am I? I'm nobody. I just run a little YouTube channel.
Friend, I like the way you think.
Well, I use my brain for that. So after that, we have match 3, and that's a 6-man tag match. And whoo boy, this has been a brewing with this team of Disorder with Keith Youngblood, AJ Phoenix, and John Steele.
Miscreants, if you ask me.
Hot Topic wannabes. They've been sitting up in the rafters or sitting in the audience, just, lurking and scowling and,
I'm not sure if Logan peed in their Cheerios at one
I don't know
point.
if somebody kicked their dog or whatever. But
I ran over their younger sister. I don't understand why they hold such animosity towards him, but it makes for great storytelling. The
first person that Disorder attacked after they were making their cryptic videos and appearances or whatever, first person that they attacked that we missed because we didn't go to that one particular show. This shows you don't miss a show. They attacked Logan Black. Then Scotty Wilde was helping him out, and it got a little ugly at the last show. So
that we were at.
And then Logan Black said, all right, well, at the anniversary show, how about you three jokers meet with us and we'll get the band back together. And they got Jeremy Leary, and we had the ECBC, the East Coast Bastard crew of Logan Black and Jeremy Leary and Scotty Wilde. Well, they accepted the challenge, and sure enough, now we're having that match at this show. And with Logan Black and Jeremy Leary and Scotty Wilde, you're getting exactly what you expect.
This was a blink and you miss it. This was fast-paced, and it was hard-hitting.
And it was not a wrestling match. It was a fight.
Yeah, it was a
it was a fight.
People around the ring, outside of the ring. Outside of the ring.
They were in the bleachers. They were over near, that thing over there, as Matthew James called it, over near the bounce house thing. It was everywhere. Yeah. And we thought we knew how it was going. It was going the East Coast Bastard Crew's way. It was going the right way.
Mm-hmm.
Then all of a sudden, there was a twist in the air, and the tides had changed. And
heartbreak.
First time in our time at PvP, Scotty Wilde turned on Logan Black and Jeremy Leary and joined the dark side of the Disorder.
The gasp that was
sucked the air right out of the room
from the entire crowd. Nobody saw it coming.
Nobody saw that coming.
And it was painful. It
hurts
painful.
Today.
Yeah.
We're a day later and it still hurts. It still hurts.
Scotty, why? Not wild, but why?
It was, that hurt. And so Disorder ended up taking the win. And it's the first time since these jokers have been sitting in the audience and whatnot that Keith Youngblood had a smile on his face.
Which was frightful.
I don't want to see that man smile ever again. It blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
not one bit.
Yeah,
yep.
And, I mean, the name made sense.
Yeah.
When you saw that smile, there was a disorder.
Yeah, no.
To the grand scheme of things.
And the one, I believe it's John Steele. Man, he's jumping around all over the place. That kid is unhinged, is what he is. Oh boy. This brings us up to our next match, and that's what's now going to be called the PvP Lineage Championship match. We had the Fuji Cup champion, Dustin Flash Waller, and he was going up against the All Valley champion, Brett Ryan Gosling, my best friend.
Ooh. He's a bum.
He's a bum. And he had with him Marshall McNeil, who I really have a hard time booing because he's such a good dude. But
still.
Not when he hangs around with a bum like him. But
it makes him smarmy.
So they're taking these two championships and they're making them into one. They're unifying them as one. And it's going to be called the Lineage Championship. And I'm excited. I'm hoping they're having a belt made for that, and I can't wait to see it because I don't want to see somebody walking around with a cup and a trophy. They need to have one title. And for this match, it was a great wrestling match. I loved it. I like Dustin Flash Waller. everybody knows how I feel about BRG, including BRG. And to be fair, I think he feels the same way about me. But
Meh.
no great loss. But it was a hell of a match.
It was a good match, yeah.
It had you going, it was back and forth, back and forth. Marshall got involved a couple of times, as usual.
I mean, did anybody...
Yeah, is anybody surprised by that?
Not a bit.
High-flying mat moves, and just they tried to show off to each other a couple of times because BRG tried to steal or, hijack one of Dustin Flash Waller's poses or whatever, gimmick infringement.
It was funny.
But so then he did it back to him or whatever, but it was a great match, and our new lineage champion is Dustin Flash Waller. And I'm really excited to see what they do with this championship. How they, do they put rules in as to like who faces who? Like, do you have to be of a certain lineage of, where your training comes from or whatever? And my personal take on it, I would like when they announce for these matches now with the lineage part of it. Okay, this is Dustin Flash Waller, and he's of the Fuji lineage. Versus, I don't know, just for argument's sake, Ryan Frost, and he's of the Killer Kowalski lineage. Just to put it, you're making it the lineage championship. Make that part of it. Give them something to learn.
Yeah,
the audience something to know about these guys.
Yeah, I like that idea.
And like Logan Black is of the Johnny Rods lineage, and different things like that.
And it shows respect again.
The whole reason it was created to you had a tournament for the lineage of these guys. Let's
bring that to the forefront.
Make it part of it. It's just my thought. I don't know if it
to the powers that be. I mean, if they don't want to, that's their choice.
Just spitballing.
But it would be nice.
I just think it's something, like when you announce it, just for that match, and I don't know, just my thought on it. And so that brings us up to, we had a well-needed
intermission.
Not yet. That was after this next match. I got ahead of myself. I'm sorry. We had the Sure Shot TLC match. TLC, for those who don't know, tables, ladders, and chairs.
This was, wow.
There's a Sure Shot contract for the PvP championship hanging above the ring. And you have to climb a ladder to grab said contract.
I wonder who the poor fellow was, or girl, that had to shimmy their way up there to hang it.
Well, they had to have used a taller ladder than the ones that they used to get the championship, because they barely reach it from the ones that they were using.
Well, I think the tallest one kind of bit the dust early in the...
So for this match, we had, for a TLC match, this pretty good lineup of guys. You had Ichiban, number 1. TJ Crawford, the Silver Sniper. AJ Cruz. Kylon King.
I love Kylon.
I knew that was coming. Pedro Dones, which I love Pedro
I love
too.
Pedro
He's entertaining as all get out. He's a good dude. And then the returning Steven Stetson. For those, if you know, you know. If you don't, you should learn.
Getting to
know. And this, it was a TLC match. There was chairs, there was tables, there was ladders.
Oh my!
There was a ladder that got folded in half the wrong way by TJ Crawford.
There were a lot of ladders that were questionable after this.
They are no longer OSHA approved ladders. I will guarantee you that.
Yeah. And PvP is going to be short quite a few chairs.
Yeah, I noticed that some of their regular plastic folding chairs that they use are no longer in service anymore because they got folded the wrong way. They are no longer sittable.
They are no longer usable.
And There was beating, banging, flying, flopping,
This was
hurting.
incredible, this match.
AJ Cruz did the infamous Terry Funk spot with the ladder around his neck, and he's spinning around and hitting whoever came within, well, ladder shot. But in the end, to climb that ladder and grab that clipboard that had that contract on it was one shot caller, Pedro Dones, who can now literally call his shot whenever he wants.
Man, I was so surprised that the crowd erupted like they did.
Yeah, because he's been part of the union. He is part of the union, as far as we know. And, I mean...
I think
But I think the crowd is starting to coax him out of the union.
Right.
I mean, man, it was a hell of a match and a hell of a win for a hell of a guy. I like Pedro Dones. He's a super cool dude.
He is. But if he does leave, I blame Alex Cypher.
That's the smartest thing in the world to do. Always blame Alex Cypher.
Yeah.
It's probably a foregone conclusion that it is his fault. No matter what it is. You stubbed your toe, it's Cypher's fault. That brings us up to the PvP Tag Team Championship. And this is after a well-needed intermission. Because there was a lot of debris to pick up and a lot of breath to catch. We needed to go get a cold beer, go get whatever. And
to be fair, there was debris since Jermaine and Black Eye came... Black Jack. Yeah. They came out with
and
all
the boom confetti.
And that was
lasted
there
all night.
Forever. And
it's probably still there.
Would giggle like a schoolgirl when these big tough men would end up on their back in confetti and then get up and are covered in it.
Pink, yellow, and blue confetti everywhere.
And and there were some people that I giggled more than others because
they deserved it.
Mm-hmm.
So after that well-deserved intermission, we came up to our PvP Tag Team Championship match, with our challengers being Brick City, Julio Cruz, and Victor Chase, who are a hell of a couple of talents. I love them as a tag team.
They are, but I'm just...
Big business.
Boo. Boo, boo, boo. I'm sorry, but we're supposed to believe that they're good guys now after a little tiny hiccup? This is bullshit of the highest order.
Rant alert.
No. If you're part of big business, you are not, quote unquote, a good guy. You are not. You're just hiding yourself until a better opportunity to reveal things comes along. Bullshit. Bullshit.
So they were facing the champions, the Union, Tony Booz and Antonio Zambrano.
I mean, I like these guys, but they are so highly unlikely as champions. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like they lucked their way into it, and they continue to be lucky to hold them. Well, when I say them,
hold on to your luck.
There's only, one, but that's not my business.
That's bad luck. So speaking of their luck,
I blame Alex Cypher.
The Union remained to be tag team champions.
Lucky.
Because they were disqualified for, I believe, foreign object use. And so Brick City wins by disqualification, but they do not win the tag team championships because you cannot win a title via disqualification. The boys played within the rules and they retained their championship. For now, because don't forget, in that tag team battle royal, the winners of Night Train can call their shot against the Union at any time and face them and they got Johnny Idol. Now listen, I love me some Johnny Idol, but if there is anybody who knows how to twist and turn around the rules, it's the egomaniac Johnny Idol.
He's
I'm
known
just
to
saying.
pull a few shenanigans
Hey,
in his time.
you don't hold on to a title as long as he did by playing clean and.
You know,
Yeah,
and
he can throw a punch or two.
he's smart because it won't be a quick, oh, let's just burn this sure shot at
We're
the
going to
biggest.
use it at the right time,
Yes.
in the right place. And if anybody is going to be able to keep Alex Cypher in line, it's one Johnny Idol.
But please don't get hurt.
Either one of them.
Yeah.
So that was our tag team championship match. And that brings us up to our PvP Fatal 4-Way championship matches for the PvP championship. And we have Sammy Diaz, top 5, dead or alive. RJ Rude, Pop Punk Devil. Big Bacon, Brad Hollister.
Boo! All the feckin' boos in the world. Boo, boo, boo.
That's on that side of that camera.
Boo.
Not me.
And that guy ain't no good guy.
Versus the champion, the tracksuit brute, the godfather of the choke slam, the head of the union, Chris Benet.
Yay!
And this match, I mean, with
Holy
these guys,
cats.
it was hard hitting, it was high flying, it was holy shit. There was some hard hits that to people I didn't think were gonna be getting hit. I keep saying this name in the last few matches here. Alex Cypher got himself involved again to his own detriment because...
But he also helped out. I will give him credit where credit is due. He saved his boss a couple of times in that match.
Yeah.
So he earned his keep at least there.
Yeah, well...
But...
I don't know if Chris is in agreement with that.
Yeah, well, he wasn't aware of one of the times.
And with Chris, there was a couple of spots that happened there that have yet to happen. And one was, I know you're not a fan. We've all heard this just recently of Big Bacon. I've seen Big Bacon German suplex just about everybody he's ever faced. He's never done it to Chris. He's never had the opportunity that I have been able to remember. And it happened. And man, was that a huge suplex. The only one that I think was bigger was when he German suplexed American Sumo. That was a huge deal.
I miss him.
But seeing him do that to Chris, it's like, man, I don't think there's anybody this guy can't lift up. But
I hated it.
It is what it is, I guess. Then, like I said, I thought Chris was going to retain because he just won it at, not the last show, but the show before he had won it at, was like, Go Big or Go Home. And he just won it. He cashed in his shirt shot on Sammy. Sammy Diaz got to hold that title for like 3-5 minutes, something like that.
Yep, that.
And, you know, he showed off with it, and that was about it. And then Chris came out.
Long enough to take pictures.
And that was it. And it's a good thing there's photographic evidence. And then...
So that means he's a 2-time champion.
Now he's and so... But in this 4-way match, Sammy Diaz ended up getting the win. And so now he is a 2-time PvP champion. And he and all 4 guys in this match, well, 3 of them were former champions, and Chris was the present day champion at the time. So, I mean, that's not a bad lineup of champions. RJ Rude, Sammy Diaz, Big Bacon, and Chris. That's a hell of a lineup of champions.
For the most part, I would have been happy with anybody but Bacon winning. So, Sammy winning, I'm fine with. Would I have liked to see Chris retain? Well, duh.
Yeah, right. I am super stoked that Sammy won. I'm a Sammy guy.
I know.
I really am.
Well, I am too. I really like him, but...
I would have liked to have seen Chris maybe go a little bit longer with it. He didn't really get to defend. He didn't get to defend it because after that sure shot cash in, he got fired.
Mm-hmm.
And then he, ended up, coming back, and then he ended up losing. so our new PvP champion, again, is Sammy Diaz. And he's going to hold it longer than 5 minutes this time.
I applaud him, and I'm happy for him.
I'm looking forward to a fairly long run with this. Thing is what's lurking, and that was something that almost happened in this match, was Pedro had a passing thought of cashing in his sure shot on his boss.
I am a little concerned.
I think there might be a little dissension in the union.
I think there might be a little animosity between those two. I don't think our friend Chris is going to be very happy with Pedro, and I bet you words are going to be spoken.
And I think there needs to be a union meeting. Make sure you have everybody there and get things ironed out. But
I'd like to be privy to that meeting.
That would be fun. I'd like to see that, have that be a sit down videoed meeting.
I'd like to have, he's talking to him while he has Alex Cypher by his shirt or his tie, just kind of holding on to him, even though he's trying to disappear. Because we all know who's to blame.
I'm telling you, always blame Cypher.
Yep.
It's butts.
But he had really nice shoes.
You gotta find a redeeming quality somehow.
He's very jauntily attired. He is a very dapper man. I appreciate it.
This brings us up to our main event of the evening. This was not only was this the 10-year anniversary of PvP, but this was also the farewell match of one Hammer Tunis. He has been on his last run. He announced a while back that April 26th was going to be his last match. And as the story was being told, Jay Tunis, his brother, the upgrade, had turned his back on his brother. And they've been back and forth.
You can't really blame him.
And Jay was saying that he is the better Tunis.
Well, I agree. He is my favorite Tunis brother.
That's what we call a softball. And and so Hammer at the last show said, you want your brother? You want to prove that you're the best? You have to do it at the next show. It's a one and done. It means either way, I'm done. So you better win. Otherwise, you're going to have that looming over you that you didn't beat me. So this night, April 26th, we had the final match of Hammer Tunis.
What a fucking match that was.
This match, it was absolutely amazing. The story that was told inside that ring, no shock to anybody, was absolutely amazing. Jay literally stepped up to the plate and knocked it out of the park. He stepped up to his brother and gave him everything he had, and Hammer gave Jay everything he had, and it was back. It was forth. It
was all over the entire building.
It went everywhere. It literally went up in the crosswalk through the glass, between the glass.
And the other wrestlers that were all pinned up against the window watching.
Everybody that was on that card was in that viewing area watching this match, just watching.
And then when they ended up there, I thought, is this like a lumberjack match or something? Because they were beating the snot out of him.
Yeah, Jay Tunis got his ass handed to him by everybody up there, including Benny the Ball, which is just amazing. I just thought that was awesome. He got back in the ring, and there was, other than going outside of the ring, there was no real outside interference. There was no No shenanigans. It was a straight up match, except for when they went up in the balcony.
Everybody respected that this had to happen.
Yeah.
This had to happen.
This had to end this story. This had to be a respectful way to end Hammer's career. And
it had to end. This story had to end with a period and not a question mark.
Perfectly. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. And in the end, 1, 2, 3, in the middle of the ring, Jay Tunis overcame his big brother, Hammer Tunis.
I mean, they was lucky that there were enough refs to...
Rev Bill got taken the F out. Rev Vinny got taken the F out. Poor Gina got hung the F out. It was crazy. And
I was ready to throw you a shirt and put you in.
I didn't know that was an option.
It's not.
But 1, 2, 3, Jay Tunis overcame the odds and took it to his big brother and sent Hammer Tunis out on his shield the way it should have been. And
it had to be this way. It had to.
And now we are never going to hear the end of it from Jay Tunis. He is going to boast about this for the rest of his days, I'm sure.
But that's okay. I think it's great. I am okay with it. He's the better Tunis brother.
So, after the match, Jay Tunis came over to his prone brother on the mat and forcibly shook his hand. And as he was leaving the ring, he saluted him. I don't know how much respect was in that happening, but it was given. And then the boys came out and gave their respects to Hammer
after he left his...
No, that was at the end. And then after they all got him up on his shoulders and everything, and they did that, and he was able to get down, and they all dispersed. He got down in the center of that ring, and he untied his boots, and he left his boots in the center of that ring. He gave a little speech, I believe, beforehand.
It was a beautiful speech.
You know, he, in the Justin Tunis way, didn't really make it all about himself, made it about the PvP family. He thanked us more than he thanked us all for, giving him a place to, apply his craft and all these different things. And there wasn't many dry eyes in the building.
Kaylee.
My poor Kaylee.
I mean, it has to be kind of, I don't know, weird for her to think that he has been wrestling for her entire life.
Yeah. Yep. A 16-year career. She's been alive for 16 years. It's kind of crazy.
And she's been watching him for half of her life.
Yep.
So she was a child. I mean, she's still a child, but she was a wee one when we first started going. Yep. And I mean, Toxis was wrestling and freaked her out.
Yeah.
But
Wild Man Congo.
Yeah. And I remember she ran up to him at our second match, and she went to hug him, and he turned and looked at me and said, "Is it okay?" And I nodded and I said yes, because she wanted to hug him. Mm-hmm. You want to know why? Because she liked his hair. Who else did she say that about? She said that about Jeremy Leary.
Yep.
The girl has, she has a type. If they have nice hair, she's okay.
She also liked Jeremy Leary's tiger pants, too.
Yes.
But this is...
But that shows the respect and the care. He didn't know us from a hole in the wall.
Not then, no.
No.
It was only been to 2 shows, and he didn't...
And he hugged her.
Yeah.
And And all the
Fan
other
for life.
matches
Yeah.
we've seen, I've never seen him hug anybody.
Yeah.
I've never seen him out and about.
Yeah, until last night.
Yeah. And so thinking back on that memory,
Yeah.
it had no wonder she was so moved about what had happened.
Yeah.
Because this is half of her entire life
Yeah.
that he has been a part of.
Yeah.
That's incredible
Yeah.
to me.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I mean,
didn't
we all
think of
know
that.
how I think about Hammer Tunis.
But
But
he knows. He told you so.
I may not like the fella, but I respect him.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thank him for everything that he's
Yeah.
done.
No, everybody knows how I feel about Justin Hammer Tunis. He holds a special place in my heart because of things that he's done that he didn't have to do. And he knows that, and he knows where he stands with me. Am I sad to see him hang it up? Hell yeah, I am, because the dude can tell an amazing story inside that ring. Not just the storytelling of wrestling, but like in the ring of two guys going back and forth. He can tell a hell of a story. He can make you like him. He can make you dislike him. He can make you cheer for him. He can make make you pissed at him.
Yeah, well, for me, that's pretty easy.
But he can make you leave that place going, what the ever-loving F did he just do? But
and question,
come back the next month to see what's going to happen to him. Or, who's going to get their comeuppance on him. He can tell a story just in that respect. But then there's the storytelling behind the scenes that he does. That's an amazing thing. He has a great mind for this business. He's got a great work ethic for this business. He's done so much just with PvP. That with how we got to know him within PvP. But then I have actually been lucky enough to see him wrestle outside of PvP a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
Be it wrestling open,
mm-hmm.
I got, or Blitzkrieg.
Mm-hmm.
I got to see his last match at Blitzkrieg.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a happy moment for him, but I was able to be there for that and get to see him do things, not
It's
just
part
the
of
PvP.
His history.
And I can literally say, and I can say I've seen him shed blood, sweat, and tears for this business. After last night, all three of them, I've seen him bleed. I've seen him sweat.
It.
I've seen him cry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an amazing, amazing show, capped off by an amazing match. It really was. And like I said, Jay Tunis stepped way the F up last night. He really did. He showed himself as a true professional. The future of the business is in good hands with Jay. He's going to do great things. Along with a lot of the other guys that we've talked about tonight that are the young up-and-comers that come out of like BioPro, Test of Strength, all these training facilities, that the future is bright with these kids. And it's because of the then guys or the now guys that are teaching them.
Well, Hammer carried the banner for quite a while.
Yeah.
And he laid it at Jay's feet.
Yep.
And Jay has picked it up, and I think he's going to take it pretty far.
And he's going to run with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings us to a part we haven't done in a while, because we haven't done a breakdown and review in a while, and I kind of missed this part of it.
You can go first.
I'll go first. Match of the night, it's easy. It really is, and that's the main event.
How can it be anything but?
the main event, the whole event was built around the main event.
It's really hard, though, because
I said it was easy, but it's not. It's easy because it's just, it's what it was. Everything I just said about it and everything that it was. But you had a TLC match. I love TLC match. I love Battle Royal Rumbles. I love them. And that was an amazing one. A women's match with a change that I wasn't expecting. a 6-man tag with a swerve that blew me the fuck away.
Yeah, nobody saw it. And
nobody saw that coming. I pick up on shit, and I did not see that. I'm not patting myself on the back, but I usually pick up on things.
But I was really kind of tickled that it was a surprise. Because
I'm glad it was a surprise. I'm glad I didn't pick that one up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was expecting so many different things, not just in that match, but throughout the whole night. That was not on my bingo card whatsoever. That was the free space that nobody had. So picking the main event, I say easy, but it wasn't easy. It's just, it's the right choice. That's my choice in the main event. Your match.
I agree. There are so many matches. Every single match at this event is worthy of a match of the night.
They really are. It was a stacked fucking card. 100%. It was a stacked card.
But
they were all main event matches.
If I am true to my word to say that I hold respect for Hammer Tunis, then I have to choose the main event as the match of the night.
Yeah.
But that being said,
do you want me to go first again, or do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
Performer of the night. You're gonna steal it. I can tell already.
I'm going with Jay Tunis.
Son of a bitch.
I'm going with Jay Tunis for the sheer fact that for someone as young, and yes, he's been around the business for a long time, and he's observed and he's learned, but being in the ring, it's been a very short time, and everything that he's done is better than the last time he performs, and that's enjoyable to watch. But this time, this was heavy.
Yeah.
There was a lot riding on this, because this could have been a flop. Easily it could have been a flop, and it wasn't. And he said, this is my time. And like I said, he picked up that banner. He held it over his head and proudly marched forward. And he will run with it. But for right now, I think he's arrogantly stomping around, holding it over his head.
We're not going to hear the end of it.
No, we're not going. And I look forward to it. Easily, Hammer could have been. And I could, definitely a case could be made. I mean, but am I going to choose Hammer Tunis? I think I've done it once in the entire time we've done it, which surprised everybody.
Including him.
Yes. And, but I can't, I respect him. And I think that this is what he would want.
Yeah.
He would want that. He would want people to say, okay, your time is over. It's now Jay's turn.
My performer of the night is also Jay Tunis. For a lot of the reasons you said. That pretty much mirror everything you said, and we don't usually do that. We usually have different opinion on who, but it's the right. He made it the right thing to do to pick him as performer of the night by picking up that ball and running with it. And that's not to say that Hammer dropped the ball. It was fought for. Yeah. It was taken, and he is going to run with it, and he has put in the hard work. We have literally watched him from the ground up.
I think my main reason for choosing him, he won. He actually won against Hammer.
He didn't just win the match. I think not that his brother didn't have respect for him to begin with, but I think he won his respect by the way that he won that match. It could have been dirty on both sides. Let's not twist anything. We know Hammer can throw the rule book out the window. They, other than the going up in the top and all that, that was all fun and games and everything. But when the stuff that was going on in the ring was being done, it was a straight up great wrestling match. And you're talking about a guy that's been doing it for 16 years and a guy, just for the sake of what I'm saying, 16 months. You know, he's been doing it for a very short time. He's training.
Mm-hmm.
And he's main eventing another PvP show. And he just put his brother down. And he did it
on a night that most people expected Hammer to walk away with the win.
That crowd did not want Jay Tunis. Not the entire crowd wanted Jay Tunis to win that match. Everybody wanted to see Hammer Tunis, you know, win one last match because he said he was done. Win or lose, he's done.
Right. And the sweet girl sitting next to me was mortally wounded.
She is. But she even gets it to know it was the right way for that match.
This had to happen.
He stepped up.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. He stepped up. And I can't be more proud of that kid. I know, oh well, we don't, boo Jay Tunis, because he's, the upgrade Jay Tunis stepped the F up.
Mm-hmm.
and did a great, amazing job
mm-hmm.
with his brother in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
And the next 10 are in good hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be attitude hands. They're going to be egotistical hands. Well, wait a minute. The first 10 were in the hands of somebody who was very arrogant, very egotistical. They're in very good hands.
They're both Tunises.
and I mean some of that jokingly, but Hammer knows how I feel. Jason knows how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I am just super stoked to see what happens next for Jason.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a great job in other places.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just hanging in PvP where it's comfortable. He's stepping outside of his comfort zone.
Right. And that
proves more.
Granted, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here.
But it's just, it's part of the character that's being built within the human being, not the
mm-hmm.
not the wrestling character, the character inside.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing a great job, and I can't be more proud of that kid than I am right now.
Exactly, me too.
And so that, I know we it's been a while, so we needed to catch up.
Could I just say one more thing?
Yep,
because this will be the last opportunity that I have to say this. Hammer Tunis. Boo.
So that was Pioneer Valley Professional Wrestling's 10-year anniversary show on April 26th, mm-hmm. 2025.
I can't wait to see where they go
and
from here.
What is next? Come on. I'm here for it. So that was our breakdown and review. And I want to be bringing these back again. We're working on how to make it easier and better to do that. And we'll definitely see you at the matches. Thank you so much. This has been Eric Hunting from Parts Unknown with my tag team partner Anissa. Thank you for helping me with this.
I love you.
And we'll see you at the matches. Thank you.
I needed something to keep myself busy. And as an undersized adult, I decided it was a good time to put on spandex and go out there and play with my friends. I had no idea it would give me 16 years of the greatest memories I'll ever have. 16 years of making some of the closest friends I'll ever have. And 16 years of building a bond between you guys. Yeah! We all come here to escape from something. Every time we're here to get away from the real world. Professional wrestling is our sanctuary. And I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to live my childhood dream in front of you for 16 years. Thank you. Wrestling goes a lot deeper than just coming out here and putting on a performance and feeling like a superstar. A lot of us need this. A lot of us need this. Okay, like I said, it's an escape. So I just want to close out here saying, if you're ever struggling with anything, you ever feel like you're alone in this world, just look right here. You got a room full of almost 400 people that you can talk and connect and relate with. Right here in this room. Every single one. You can come to PvP. PvP family is a real thing. You guys are each and every one of a part of that right here and now. If you're struggling, reach out to somebody. Talk to somebody. Come here. We'll be your friends and family. Everybody be safe tonight. I will see you guys at the next PvP show. It's been an absolute honor. And you assholes in the back. Thank you guys so much. It's been an absolute honor to show the field battle with you.